Okay, so let's dive into this. We've got quite a bit of source material here, and it's all pointing in one direction, really.
Hmm.
It's about how rural places, communities outside the big cities, are dealing with labor shortages. They need people, skilled workers especially.
Yeah, it's a huge issue, and it's fascinating to see how different programs try to tackle it.
Exactly. Which brings us neatly to today's focus,
Hmm.
the Rural Community Immigration Pilot, the RCIP.
Right.
And specifically, we're looking at how it works in Pictou County, Nova Scotia, since they're one of the communities in the pilot.
And we've got the official government docs, stuff from the local economic development group there, the Pictou County Partnership.
Add all the nitty-gritty details for employers and potential candidates, too.
So yeah, our job today is basically to cut through the jargon, pull out the key bits from these sources you've got, and really understand what this program is, how it actually functions there in Pictou County, and who it's really designed for.
Think of it as your quick guide, getting right to the heart of this specific immigration pathway.
Exactly, your shortcut.
Perfect. So first things first. At its core, what is this RCIP thing looking at the Pictou County angle?
Okay, so fundamentally, it's a federal immigration program, but it has a very, very specific aim.
Which is?
It's designed to help skilled workers who actually want to live and work long-term in these smaller, more rural or remote communities get permanent residence in Canada.
Okay, so it's directly targeting those labor shortages we mentioned.
Precisely. It creates a pathway, but one that's tied directly to the specific needs identified by the community itself.
And Pictou County was what, one of about 18 communities ticked for this across Canada?
Yeah.
The sources mentioned that.
That's right, yeah. The federal government chose communities they felt could really support newcomers and also benefit from their skills. So the RCIP lets approved employers, they call them designated employers in these areas, hire people for jobs they just can't fill locally.
Okay, so designated employers, that sounds key. It's not just any business can use this.
No, definitely not.
And it sounds like it's driven by the employer needing someone rather than someone just applying to immigrate generally.
That's a critical point.
Yeah.
It is very much employer-driven. And that local group you mentioned, the Pictou County Partnership, they're the lead organization on the ground.
Right.
Their job is basically to help local businesses figure out which roles are critical and then guide them through the whole RCIP process.
Employer driven. Okay, let's stick with that for a second. What does a business in Pictou County actually have to do if they want to use this pilot?
Well, first step, they have to officially become a Pictou County RCIP designated employer,
Okay.
which means, proving their business is legit and meets the program's rules. But interestingly, they also have to do some free training.
Training. What kind of training?
It covers the basics of the program itself, obviously, but also, and this is important, intercultural competency training.
Ah, that's really interesting. Why? The idea is to help them build genuinely welcoming workplaces, and support keeping newcomers long term. It's about retention right from the start.
So they're thinking about integration even at the employer training stage. That's smart.
Seems like it. Yeah. Once they've done the training and confirmed they meet the criteria, they submit an application to the partnership to get that official designation.
Okay, so designation is step one. Is there anything else province-wise they need?
Yes, good point. On top of the RCIP designation, if they're hiring foreign workers, they also need something called an Employer Registration Certificate, or ERC, from Nova Scotia Labor Standards.
Another piece of paper. Is that complicated or expensive?
The sources are clear. There's no fee for the ERC itself. Think of it as like a necessary provincial checkbox that has to be ticked alongside the federal pilot program stuff.
Got it. So designation via the partnership, provincial ERC. Check, check. Then they can actually offer someone a job through the pilot.
Then they can make the offer, yes. But, and this is a big but, it can't be just any job offer. There are strict rules.
Okay, let's unpack that. What makes a job offer eligible for the RCIP in Pictou County?
Right. So first off, the job itself has to physically be in Pictou County within the specific area they've defined for the pilot.
Which, according to the sources, includes Pictou Landing First Nation, the municipality of Pictou County, and the towns: New Glasgow, Pictou, Stellarton, Trenton, Westville. That's quite specific.
Very specific geographic boundaries, yes. And the job itself, it absolutely has to be full-time.
Defined as.
At least 30 paid hours per week, minimum. And it needs to be non-seasonal, so year-round work.
Okay.
And indeterminate, meaning no set end date from it. Volunteer gigs, unpaid internships, they definitely don't count.
Full-time, year-round, permanent, job within that specific area. Okay, that makes sense if the goal is permanent residence for the worker.
Yeah.
What about the type of work? Does it have to be, like, super high skilled?
It needs to align with the candidate's own qualifying work experience skill-wise. They use the National Occupational Classification System, the NOC.
Ah, the NOC codes.
Yeah, Canada's system for jobs. The sources talk about tier categories within NOC. Tier just stands for training, education, experience, and responsibilities. Basically, the skill level of the job offered has to match up reasonably well with the person's past work experience.
So if I was, say, a manager before, the job offer should probably be for a management role or maybe something related.
Pretty much, yeah. The sources get specific. If the job offer is a higher tier, like tier 0 or 1, think management or professional jobs, the candidate's experience needs to be in tier 0, 1, 2, or 3. Kind of a range downwards is okay.
Okay.
If the job is tier 3 or 4, the experience needs to be tier 2, 3, or 4. And for tier 5 jobs, which are usually roles needing just on-the-job training, the experience has to be in the exact same 5-digit NOC code. Much tighter matching there.
Right. So there's a clear logic. Matching the job skill level to the person's background ensures they're not wildly mismatched.
Exactly. It's about finding a good fit, although there is an interesting exception mentioned for healthcare workers.
Oh.
Well, someone with experience as a registered nurse, that's NOC 31301, Tier 1, pretty high skill, could potentially get a job offer under this program for roles like, say, a nurse aide or orderly, which is NOC 33102, Tier 3, or even a home support worker, NOC 44101, Tier 4.
So more flexibility downwards for healthcare roles.
Seems like it. It really highlights where the critical needs are, doesn't it, given the demand in healthcare everywhere?
Yeah, absolutely. Does Pictou County list specific priority jobs or industries they're targeting for, say, 2025?
They do. The sources lay out priority sectors for 2025. Business, finance, admin type roles, health jobs, obviously, sales and service, trades, transport, equipment operators, and manufacturing as well.
And within those, are there specific jobs listed?
Yep, there's a list, things like plumbers, carpenters, pharmacists, quite a range, actually.
But I thought I saw something about limits on certain jobs, too.
You did. That's another interesting detail. Certain jobs, like restaurant managers, food service managers, retail sales supervisors, cooks, they have caps.
Apps lights.
They can't make up more than 10% of the total spots, the total recommendations Pictou County makes in a year under this pilot.
Oh.
And there are even specific limits for restaurant managers per location based on how many hours the restaurant is open.
Wow, that's detailed. So it kind of feels like they're trying to spread the impact across different sectors, not let it get swamped by, say, just restaurant jobs.
That seems to be the strategy, yeah. Diversification of the workforce needs their addressing. And one more thing on the employer side, before they even offer the job to an international candidate,
Yes.
they have to show they tried, genuinely tried, to fill the position locally first with a Canadian citizen or a permanent resident.
Right, makes sense. Prove the need for an international hire.
Exactly. It has to be for a gap they couldn't fill otherwise.
Okay, so that covers the employer side and the job offer rules pretty thoroughly. Let's flip it. What about the person hoping to come to Pictou County, who is eligible from the candidate side?
Well, the absolute number one thing, and we keep coming back to this, is they must have that valid job offer from a designated Pictou County employer.
No offer, no application. Simple as that.
Absolutely non-negotiable starting point. Because, like we said, employer-driven, you can't just, raise your hand and say, I want to apply through RCIP Pictou County without that connection.
Gotcha. So, assuming they have that crucial job offer, what else do they need?
They need to meet personal requirements, too. We already talked about the work experience needing to line up with the job offer's tier level.
Right, the skills matching.
But are there situations where maybe that work experience isn't needed? Or it's different?
Uh-huh. Is there?
Yes. And this is, I think, a really significant point for anyone listening, especially maybe students. The sources detail a big exception.
Ooh, okay. Tell me more. What's the exception?
It's for international students who graduated from a public post-secondary institution located right there in the community.
In Pictou County itself.
Yes. The key insight here is really interesting. If you've already invested time studying locally, right there in Pictou County, the program basically says, okay, you've shown a connection, you know the place.
How does it work?
So if they graduated from an eligible program, has to be at least 2 years long, and they studied full-time, got their diploma or degree no more than 18 months before they apply for permanent residence.
Okay.
And they were physically present in the community for at least 16 of the last 24 months while they were studying, then boom, they are exempt from needing that separate 1 year of work experience.
Wow. That's actually huge. It's a direct pathway designed to keep international grads who've already put down some roots in that specific rural community.
It really is a powerful incentive for retention. And the same kind of exemption applies if they did a master's degree or PhD, even if it was shorter than 2 years. As long as they studied full-time, finished within 18 months, and were in the community the whole time they were studying.
That's fantastic. Are there any catches to that student exemption?
A couple of small ones. It doesn't apply if, like, more than half your program was just language training, English or French, or distance learning.
Makes sense you wouldn't be in the community then.
Right. Or if you were on a scholarship that specifically requires you to go back to your home country after graduating.
Okay, good nuances to know.
Mm.
So besides work experience or having that student exemption, what else does a candidate absolutely need?
Standard stuff, mostly. Language tests got to prove you meet the minimum level in English or French.
CLB levels.
Yep, Canadian language benchmarks. They also need an educational credential assessment, an ECA report, if their education was done outside Canada. Just shows it's equivalent to a Canadian credential.
Standard immigration requirement.
And, crucially, proof of settlement funds. They need to show they have enough money to support themselves and their family when they first arrive, unless they're already working legally in Canada.
Right, the show me the money part. Okay, so picture this. Designated employer, eligible job offer, candidate meets all the personal requirements, experience or exemption, language, education, funds. What's the actual process look like for the candidate to apply?
It's interesting because the employer actually kicks things off again.
Oh, really? How?
The employer fills out and submits what's called a recommendation application to the Pictou County Partnership. They do this on behalf of the candidate.
So they're applying to the community body first, not the federal government.
Exactly. The partnership reviews that application. They check. Does the job offer meet all the rules? Does the candidate meet all their eligibility rules? They vet everything against the program criteria laid out in the sources.
So the local partnership acts as kind of a gatekeeper. They decide if the candidate gets recommended.
That's a good way to put it. The community, through the partnership, makes that crucial first recommendation, if and only if the community recommends the candidate.
Then what?
Then the candidate gets the green light to submit their actual application for permanent residence directly to the federal government, Immigration, Refugees, and Citizenship Canada, or IRCC.
Ah, okay. So community recommendation first, then federal application to IRCC. And IRCC is the main federal department handling all immigration.
Precisely.
Now, applying for permanent residence. It's going to take a while sometimes, right? What happens in the meantime? Does the person just wait back home? The employer needs them now.
Good question. And yes, the sources mention an option for that. It's not automatic, but it's there.
What is it?
If the community recommendation has been issued and the candidate has formally submitted their PR application to IRCC, they might be eligible to apply for a temporary work permit. It's usually for 2 years.
A bridging work permit, basically.
Yeah. It lets them come to Pictou County and start working in that specific job much sooner, while IRCC processes the permanent residency part. The employer has a role here, too. They have to submit the offer electronically through the IRCC employer portal, pay a compliance fee, and then give the candidate an offer of employment number, which the candidate needs for their work permit application.
That makes a ton of sense. It bridges that gap, gets the worker into the job faster for the employer, while the permanent status gets finalized. Good practical step.
Definitely seems designed to address the immediate labor need while keeping that long-term settlement pathway clear. Now, there's something else the sources really emphasize.
Yeah.
The Pictou County Partnership's role doesn't just stop once they issue that recommendation. They talk a lot about providing what they call a community hug.
A community hug. I like the sound of that. What does it mean in practice, according to the sources?
It means they actively work to connect newcomers with local settlement agencies, integration programs, community groups, basically all the resources available to help them settle in properly.
So it's about more than just the job.
Way more. The goal is explicitly stated. Help newcomers not just arrive, but settle successfully, feel welcome, start thriving, and, become part of the community's growth. They see this support as absolutely key for long-term retention.
That ties back perfectly to that employer training on welcoming workplaces we talked about earlier.
Exactly. It's like a layered approach, training the employer, supporting the newcomer. It's all aimed at making sure people stick around and feel like they belong in Pictou County. It really aims for that successful, sustainable integration, good for the newcomer, good for the community.
Okay, one practical question. This process sounds like it has quite a few steps. What if someone, maybe an employer, maybe a candidate, feels overwhelmed and wants help? Can they hire an immigration consultant?
Ah, yes, the sources are very clear on this. Using an immigration representative, a consultant, or a lawyer is totally optional. It won't speed things up or give the application any special treatment.
That it's allowed.
It's allowed, but, and this is crucial, if you do choose to hire someone, they must be authorized by the Government of Canada.
Whoa.
Meaning they have to be a member in good standing with the official regulatory body, the College of Immigration and Citizenship Consultants, CICC, or part of a Canadian provincial or territorial law society. You can't just use anyone.
And does the Pictou County Partnership recommend anyone?
No, they explicitly state they do not endorse or work with any specific immigration consultants. Their guidance is, it's your choice, but if you use one, make absolutely sure they are authorized. Check their credentials.
Good, clear advice. Protect yourself, make sure they're legit if you go that route.
Absolutely critical. It's about getting sound, ethical advice.
Okay, so wrapping this up a bit, what does this all mean for you, the listener, trying to get your head around this specific program? We've dug into the RCIP as it plays out in Pictou County based on these sources.
Yeah, and we've seen, first and foremost, it's employer-driven. It's built to fill very specific labor needs in that defined rural area.
And it offers a pathway directly to permanent residence, which is huge.
And it involves a clear, multi-step process. Rules for the employers, rules for the job offer, rules for the candidates.
Including that really interesting exemption for local international student graduates.
Definitely a key takeaway. And woven through it all is that dedicated community support, that community hug idea, aiming to help people truly integrate and stay.
Yeah, it feels structured, yes, lots of rules, but also warm. There's a clear focus on not just getting people there, but helping them settle and become part of the place.
And if you think about the bigger picture, rural development strategies, this really highlights an approach that tries to blend the economic need with the human side integration belonging.
Which leads perfectly to our final thought for you to chew on after this deep dive. Really consider the role programs like this RCIP are playing, or could play, in shaping the future of rural communities across Canada.
Yeah, think about it. When you combine filling specific job needs with a direct path to permanent residency, and you add in that deliberate focus on community integration support, how does that actually change things?
How does it change the dynamic, both for the community trying to grow and sustain itself, and for the newcomer looking not just for a job, but for a home?
What might this kind of model economic need plus pathway plus integration suggest about maybe more effective ways for rural areas to grow and thrive compared to, say, other approaches we've seen? Something to ponder.